Just in case you're expecting a super high quality video that's super serious, you've come to the wrong place because I don't have a mic. I suck at editing, and this video is kind of corny because I don't know how to take myself seriously. But I hope you enjoy anyway. And if you don't like it and if you hate on me, that means you're Vonbabbit's disciple, and that means you love Vonbabbit. Wow, I sure am excited to look at Okazaki fan art on Twitter today. Seriously, what the actual fuck? So, in case you aren't a Twitter user or you just aren't caught up, a lot has happened in the Tetro fandom recently, on Twitter specifically. And I mean a lot. This is like the third time I've witnessed the Tetro fandom crash and die live. And maybe that says something about me being chronically online, but we're not gonna talk about that. So, the first time was because of the Hayashi audio that was on the Ko-Fi, which everyone just kind of forgot about, and it was just swept under the rug. Like, okay. The second time was because of the second trial, but that wasn't anything too bad. And the third time was, well, a lot happened, okay? I wasn't gonna make a video about this at first until I saw this tweet, and it made me want to make one because nobody's actually gonna make one, you know, so I think it's time for me to take over. By the way, this video contains spoilers for Tetro Pink, Tetro Blue, and we're also going to be talking about the sexualization of minors. So if you're uncomfortable with that, you should probably click off. And also, please do not send hate to anybody that I mention in this video. And yes, that includes Ms. Von GP Tetro herself. Because we should be civil about this and not start a fucking witch hunt. Please enjoy my shitty video essay. Danganronpa Tetro is a Danganronpa fan project that debuted in 2023, though the creator Vonbabbit has stated that she's been working on it since 2022. It's purely audio and sprites and no visuals, which makes it unique. Like, as far as I know, this has never been done before, so it was a unique concept, you know. It's also supposed to be a more realistic take on Danganronpa, and I did enjoy Pink at first, you know, but then all my favorites died, so that wasn't very fun. And that's actually related to our first topic, which Vaughn has been accused of multiple times: misogyny. Vaughn has been accused of being a misogynist multiple times because, well, she killed all the women for male character development, and the female characters weren't very well developed either. You know, Sasuke died for Yanagi's development and somewhat Hiroaki's, I think. Suno and Isono both died for Wata's development, and Chiba died for Hama's. And then Watari also died for Hama's development, and then Hama died. Vaughn has commented on this before though and said that her writing has gotten better, which is up for debate, but anyway, I say this is generally a case of bad writing and not actual misogyny, I think. This is not the only time Vaughn has been accused of being a misogynist before though. She's also been accused of being a misogynist because during the Danganronpa Tetro Trial 2, the Yuri goddess killed a woman and then ended up dying for a man's development. And mind you, she herself barely had any screen time in the chapter. And Mutsuko barely had any either. Like, what are we talking about? Your writing is ass. These are 100% not all of the misogyny allegations that Vaughn gets. I just don't really want this video to be 10 hours long, so I just mentioned the two main ones that I thought were important. Now we're going to talk about our next lovely allegation, which is ableism. I don't know if this one was big at the time, but a little while ago I was scrolling down on Vaughn's Tumblr, like all the way, because I wanted to read every single Okazaki ask. Don't ask, I'm hyperfixating bad on her. Okay, really bad, which you can probably tell, but I noticed Vaughn kind of getting dogged on for being ableist because she said Kamimura is canonically ugly, and people thought that was ableist. I don't know if people went wild over this like outside of Tumblr. I don't know, but yeah. This isn't the only ableism accusation we have though. Some people think that Ikeda's age regression being used as a plot device, you know, him exposing Ogura, was ableist. I'm not an age regressor, so I don't really know if I can speak on this, but what I will say is that trial was shit from a but, I mean, the trial was entertaining, sure, but why would you make the Yuri goddess die for a man's development? Why would you make her kill a woman? I mean, actually, I know why, because Ogura had her reasons, duh, but I still can't get over it. I miss Mitsuko and Ogura. Why does Vaughn get rid of all the lesbians? This is why Tamba is the GOAT, even though I fucking hated her when I watched Pink. Anyway, we've strayed from the topic a little, so I'll just say it probably is a little weird. You know, I've seen people say that it was weird to use that as a plot device, and I can't speak on it, so I'm just gonna agree with them. It probably is a little weird. Now we're gonna talk about one of the events that I watched happen live. Like, I watched Tetro Twitter turn into a dumpster fire. Live. The My audio. I witnessed this happen live. Tetro Twitter was in flames. It was crazy. So, here's the gist of it. Vaughn posted 2 Valentine's Day audios on Ko-Fi around 2023, I think. A sweet one and a spicy one. I haven't heard the audios, but I have read the spicy one's transcript, and it could 100% be read as sexual. 100%. I don't remember all of it, but it was some shit maybe I'll untie you if you're a good girl. And you might be wondering, Moon, what's the issue here? Mind you, Hayashi is 17 years old. I still find it crazy that nobody was talking about it before the big 2025. Nobody said anything. I did see a majority of the Ko-Fi supporters say that they didn't know it was there, so that's why, I guess? But I still think it's crazy. You know what's crazier? Vaughn's response. She basically said that it wasn't meant to be anything of a sexual nature, but that she did see how it could be read as that, but that it wasn't meant in that way. Which just... Why are you playing dumb when you know that this could 100% be seen as something sexual in nature? And mind you, in her response, you know what she also said? Yeah, Hayashi was 17, 1 month away from 18. Okay, she wasn't 18, so why does it matter? It's her voice. That was her voicing a 17-year-old girl. And then after all that, I'm pretty sure Vaughn privated her Twitter and left Tumblr, to my dismay, because, you know, she never answered my Okazaki ask. And do you remember how Vaughn said that the audio wasn't meant to be sexual in nature? Well, it doesn't matter, because there's literally art from her, or should I say novel AI, that heavily sexualizes her 17-year-old characters. Yes, that is our next talking point. Vaughn sexualizing her characters that are minors. Oh dear. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. I'm just gonna show you some art that Vaughn has made, and we're gonna look at it together and have a fun time. Before we start though, these are probably censored a little bit so that YouTube doesn't banish me to the Shadow Realm. And that's probably for the better, because I don't really want you to see these full arts. You've already seen some of these at the beginning of the video, but now we're going to be taking a lovely, closer look at them. Tsuno and Mai are the biggest victims. Just look at these. This is also where you can realize, hey, this kind of looks AI. Mind you, they are 17 years old. And Vaughn has mentioned on her Tumblr that some characters did actually turn 18 over the course of the game, but I don't know which ones those are, and I don't care either because Vaughn is still a weirdo. And this is Wada. It's not outright sexualized, but what's with the shading? And why does he look like a little boy? I mean, I guess he did look very young in the original Tetro Pink, but did he really look like a little boy? I don't think so. It's just weird. And in this one, Kamimura is half naked, but I don't think this one is the worst offender. We're gonna get to that one, alright? This picture of Hama isn't sexualized at all. But you know what is? He's so tall. He could wear anything. I bet his dick is huge too. This is supposed to be in character for Hiroaki to write, canonically Hiroaki is writing this. But I don't think you should be writing any of this about your 17-year-old characters, at all. Even if you think it's in character, because what the fuck. And just in case you could try to make an argument for all of these, I'm going to show you the worst offender of them all. This was sent to Hiroaki's voice actor. And I don't think I need to tell you how disgusting this is. What the fuck? And art is not the only thing that Vaughn has created that sexualizes her underage cast. Allegedly, Vaughn owns the AO3 account called Blackberry Something, which writes absolutely deplorable Tetro fanfiction. Like, it's genuinely disgusting. And I'm not pulling this out of my ass or anything. The voice actor for Dr. Khan literally thinks that this is Vaughn's alt account and has said that this person's writing is similar to Vaughn's. If it quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck. Not to mention that this is the person that found, I think, all of the terminals. That is not a coincidence. And besides from these disgusting ones, there are actual fanfics that Vaughn has written about her cast. And one of these is about Sasaki and Hama, and it's mature. I mean, they're aged up, but in my point of view, it's weird to age up a character for the sole reason of sexualizing them. I think that's still weird. Before we get to the really big accusation, we're gonna talk about Vaughn's tracing. Some of Vaughn's art show signs of tracing from, guess what, Genshin Impact of all things. It's mainly Wada being traced from Kazuha, and these hands literally line up perfectly. You know what? Almost everything lines up perfectly with this one. Like, it's you're not even hiding it well, Vaughn. What the hell? Also, what I think is even fucking sillier than tracing from Genshin Impact official artwork is tracing from their 3D models. Like, seriously? I know some of these are definitely reaches, but some of these are believable. And you know what? With whatever Vaughn has been doing, I'm not even surprised if she traced literally everything. Like, oh my god. There's also been accusations of Vaughn tracing Klee and Chi-Chi for Chiba and Ogura, but I think those are a little less believable. But you know, you can form your own opinion on that stuff. So, before we get into the biggest scandal of all, I just want to talk about this person on Twitter, Meows, because they've been adamant about Vaughn's AI use. And they used to be all over my timeline. And they were always posting about the AI, and I myself was like, oh my god, they're literally dragging it. Like, Vaughn doesn't even use AI. Like, that's genuinely what I thought. Until a specific thread dropped. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get there. Anyways, shout out to the GOAT. So, I've definitely been dragging it out for long enough. So, let's talk about Vaughn's AI usage. It's not even alleged. She 100% definitely uses AI. But I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm getting this info from another Google Doc, which I'll get to, but on the 5th of June this year, a Google document was posted accusing Vonbabbit of AI art use. Then, on an unspecified date, a Google Doc was posted trying to debunk these claims. Not by Vaughn, by the way. And then Vaughn posted a response on the same day and also posted a speed paint on the 7th, which are both now unavailable due to Vaughn privating her Twitter. Then, on September 12th, a Google Doc was posted by GoneFishing235, accusing Vaughn of AI art use again. It's extremely detailed and very long, and I actually saw this on my timeline, and I did look at it, but all I thought in my head was, well, they're just nitpicking human mistakes, and they're reaching. So I still didn't believe it. And then, on November 27th, a thread was posted. The thread was created by Aroha1700, and it included art that Vaughn had generated, made. And this thread made it undeniable that, yes, this shit is AI. This isn't an AI proving, video, so I'm not gonna deep dive into them and point out every single detail, but you could just take a look at some of these and it's super obvious. But this isn't even the worst of it. That speed paint was also AI traced. Oh my god, bruh. You can literally see her erase the hair strands and then draw them back in the same exact place. Oh my god. But, you know what's even worse than tracing AI art for your project and vehemently denying it? Gaining money from it. This is Vaughn's Ko-Fi. She claims that it's not a Tetro Ko-Fi, But we all know that's a lie, because most of the art that's been shown here was on the Ko-Fi, which people paid for. And I haven't even mentioned Von's donation goals. Oh, if I get this much money, I'll take a break. Oh, I want this. Oh, I'll do this if you give me a lot of money. Oh, please give me money for my AI art. You cannot be fucking serious. You take all this money from your fans and don't pay a single cent to your fucking voice actors. Matter of fact, Von says fuck the voice actors. But you know what? We'll get to that later. Because now I really want to talk about the final nail in Von Tetro GPT's coffin. And it's honestly laughable. Oops, I slipped. I wonder what Vonbabbit was up to in 2022. Yes, that is Von on Amino putting people's OCs into AI in 2022, which is when the casting call for Tetro came out. And after this, all hell broke loose. This was posted, and then I woke up the next day and Tetro was on indefinite hiatus. And if you haven't seen the post, that's because it was posted on Von's personal YouTube channel and then deleted swiftly after because she got criticism. Then she proceeded to delete all the channels in the staff server and block her voice actors. Speaking of voice actors, Dr. Khan's voice actor got casted for the role at 16, not knowing her character was a Nazi rapist. Von gave him the lore dump and it said nothing about Dr. Khan being like that. And it's already been mentioned in this video, but the art that was sent to Hiroaki's voice actor. And you might have been wondering this entire time, why didn't the voice actor say anything? Because they were under NDA. Actually, I don't know how this all works, but the NDA ended up being void, and Dr. Khan's voice actor ended up leaking a tier list that Von posted in the staff server before official sprites were done, and that 100% confirms the AI. Again. I have a few other things to talk about, but I'm gonna breeze through them because they happened before the Amino post, and I just couldn't find anywhere to put them. So the Tetro White cast was leaked, and they're all very ugly and chopped and so clearly AI generated. The Blue Death Order was also leaked by some corny ass person who is apparently also a groomer. I don't know anything about that. That's just what I've heard, so don't take my word for it. And after the NDA was void or whatever, Denden's voice actor just started going ham and leaking everything about Blue. Like, everything. I'm pretty sure they made a server for it. Like, everything got leaked. And I wanted to mention, if you didn't know this yet and you were sad about Tetro going on hiatus, Denden's voice actor has posted every single chapter, fully, only audio, on their YouTube channel. And I mentioned this because I wanted to revisit the ableism topic I had in the video earlier. What I'm going to be talking about next has spoilers for chapter 3 and 4 of Tetro Blue, so if you don't want that, then you can skip to this timestamp. Killing off 3 of your disabled characters back to back to back is insane. Making the blind character go through shock therapy and making him say that he's useless because he's blind is insane. What kind of crack was Von on when she was cooking this? And I know that Von is almost legally blind or legally blind. Tumblr fans, do not attack me because I know what you guys did to the person who made the first AI Google Doc. You guys were insane. I know that Von is like legally blind, okay? And I'm not claiming that this is like ableist. I'm just saying it is weird. Because why the fuck would you do that? So we're done talking about most of the stuff, and this is the last thing I'm going to be talking about. And I'm sorry if it seems like I've been rushing through the video, but this is a much more important thing to talk about. Von has been accused of grooming. I'm just going to be reading this person's tweets because I'm not really sure how to condense this into one. So I'm just going to be reading this person's thread. I'm not sure if my friend wants to come out with more of their experiences at some point in time because they still only recently started processing this entire fuckery. Von is a huge fucking creep and she should be held accountable for all her actions. Alright guys, I've been holding on to this information for a long time for safety reasons. I've had testimony by a friend, whom I won't mention at the time, who was pretty younger than Vaughn and had very similar, if not more creepy behavior targeted at them by Vaughn. One incident that made my jaw drop was the fact that Vaughn sent them a now-deleted tit pic once they turned 18. Plus, she even convinced said friend to purchase a cleavage window top and joked about how it wasn't their month of birth yet, so she had to behave herself. The friend was 17 at the time and Vaughn 20. Just food for thought. So basically, the victim was 6 months away from turning 18, and Vaughn was 3 years older than them. They were shopping online on stream, and Vaughn convinced them to get a top with a bit of a cleavage window. If I was 20 years old, I would not be trying to convince a 17-year-old to get a top with a cleavage window. What the fuck? And I don't want to read these out, so basically the victim says that the cleavage shirt is a bit sexy, and then Vaughn asks for proof, and then they sent proof, and then Vaughn says like, yeah, this one has me acting up, officer. Dude, ew. Some more screenshots that I got a hold of. There's also a cock rank down that I won't attach of the pink students. Ew. And here's Vaughn asking the victim if her 17-year-old underage character is hot. And here is Vaughn calling her other 17-year-old underage character sexy. And mind you, Vaughn said in a live stream that every time she saw Suno, she just wanted to smack her belly because that's the only part of skin that is exposed. Okay, Vaughn. And here's Vaughn sending the victim a picture of her cleavage. Okay, Vaughn. Okay, Vaughn. Okay. The victim is okay, but Vaughn had them terrified for ages. And even after all of this, Vaughn has yet to address the allegations. But I feel like she's not going to. And even if she does, I bet it's just gonna be some bullshit like, I fucking hate everything. Guys, you need to leave me the fuck alone. I've never been this close to institutionalizing myself. My mental health is so bad. Leave me alone. It's gonna be some bullshit like her guilt-tripping her fans, lying about everything, and denying literally every single allegation. And remember how I said that her fucking grooming someone was the last thing we were gonna talk about today? Well, it's not, because every time I log onto Twitter, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So this is something Vaughn did outside of Tetro, and this was in 2017. I don't know how to explain this very well, but I'm gonna try my best. This information was shared by Skylar, aka Dr. Khan's VA, and it's really hard to explain, but I'll try my best to summarize it. So around 2017, there was this Danganronpa server that was linked to an Imagines blog, I think Danganronpa V3 Imagines, and it claimed to have AI bots that were learning that you could roleplay with. I think you can guess where this is going because this was 2017. I do want you to keep in mind though, in 2017, Vaughn was a teenager. But I do think that this adds more context to some of her actions, because old habits die hard, I guess. So, these alleged learning AI bots, if you wanted to speak to them, you had to ask a mod, I think. Honestly, I'm just going to be reading this person's message because I don't know how else to word this. She would use these bots, basically webhooks that she roleplayed as. The only thing that you'd see was the bot tag on the user. Never any actual code was showed. To manipulate, peer pressure, gaslight, demean, and humiliate people for her own entertainment. You were led to believe that these were AI models, and despite creating them, she had no real control over them or what they said, and it was, to say the least, just extremely insane. She would push people into romantic relationships with these bots, once again that she herself roleplayed as, to the extent of getting gifts, money, nudes, and God knows what else. All of this was completely non-consensual, as the people who engaged in those activities were 100% convinced that they were speaking to an AI and not Brooklyn herself. She would also use these bots, and her alt accounts as well, to manipulate the dynamics of the server/friend group. And to do this, there was a certain one that was her favorite. His name was Teppa. The thing is, Teppa was an asshole. And Brooklyn would act like she couldn't control him whenever he decided to go on a smear campaign against everyone and anyone who made a single mistake in Brooklyn's eyes. If a human user were to express their concern, Umad would shut down the bots for the day and claim to be suicidal, demonizing anyone who would dare insult her life's work. The other users would be turned against whoever the target of this demonization was, and I'm inclined to believe they were either kicked or banned after these incidents. Despite this, if a bot were to do something genuinely heinous, if these bots can have sex, there can be rape. They'd have the chance to be redeemed. But if a human were to criticize a mod, they'd likely be argued with and shunned. If they stuck around long enough, they'd likely either leave on their own or be banned after another argument. All of these users were also teenagers, and not mentally equipped to handle these kinds of situations. But if they made a human mistake, the bots would be fucked up forever. Fun, right? It seems that this was the straw that broke the camel's back, and the server started the process of withering away entirely. It was eventually found out that the bots weren't actually real, and instead were the mods, or perhaps just Umad herself, role-playing each character. This means that all of the violence that happened was written by real people and not the result of a learning AI. Olivia was also eventually found out to not be real and just another character that Umad had created. The server died off, and any friendships that had started there likely imploded later. This ends the story of New Bot City. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. Or, well, maybe. I'm not sure. And I don't know anyone who was there after my friend was kicked, but we can probably assume so. And somewhere out there, Umad may still be suicidal. Well, at least we know the gaslighting and guilt-tripping and manipulating isn't a new thing. And honestly, what the fuck did I just read? What the fuck was Vaughn doing? Why the fuck would you do this? What was the fucking reason? I mean, we'll most likely never know because Vaughn is most likely never going to respond to any of these allegations. And to end off this video, I wanted to go on a little unscripted rant. Most of this video is unscripted except for certain parts, but I just kind of want to rant for a little bit. It's okay to still enjoy Tetro. It's okay to still interact with it. Well, not the YouTube channel, preferably, because you shouldn't support it, but I mean, like, the fandom and stuff. It's okay to still make fan art, to enjoy the characters, write fanfics, make content about it, edits, whatever. It's okay to do that. You shouldn't have to distance yourself from something you love because the creator is an absolutely abhorrent person. You shouldn't have to do that. And quite frankly, I'm not going to do that. Okazaki is still one of my favorite characters ever. And I'm just gonna take her, like she's my OC now. And I think everyone should do that with the characters they like. And then we'll have the Tetro multiverse with a bunch of versions of the character. Like we have my version of Okazaki and then your version of Okazaki, and then we can all coexist in peace. Hopefully, if you know what I mean. And I'm still so surprised that the creator of one of my favorite Fanganronpas ever is such a horrible person. It's so weird. And in this time more than ever, I advise you to go support the voice actors who worked hard to bring this series to life. They are genuinely so good at what they do, and you should support them. And I wanted to say that I still love the Tetro community. You shouldn't have to leave the fandom. You should just stay in the fandom and interact with people because the Tetro community is truly one of the nicest communities I've ever been in, and despite some flaws, I still really enjoy it here, and I don't think we should have to, disband and leave because Vaughn's a fucking asshole. I mean, but this isn't me saying that leaving the fandom or just not interacting with Tetro ever again is a bad thing. If that's what you want to do, then you should do that, but don't take the moral high ground and start hating on people who still like Tetro and still like the characters and still make content of it, because that's an asshole thing to do. And to end this off, I just really hope that everyone who's been affected by Vaughn's batshit crazy insane actions are doing okay, or I hope that they're healing, because Vaughn is genuinely fucking horrible person. And to end this off, actually, I want to say, as I did at the beginning of this video, if you hate on me, then that means you support and love Vonbabbit. This means you are Vonbabbit's disciple and that you live, laugh, love Fun Tetro GPT and that you love AI. Yeah, that's just the way it is. I'm really sorry. But if you do want to send me hate, then send it to my straw page so that I can react to it on Twitter and become #famous. Link in bio. Description. Okay, bye. Sorry, this video is so corny.